What's going on? Do I do I do I even need to say it? Do I do I even need to say it? So, as I've said before, I want to remind you guys that when a certain person says something, it's basically just the opposite. Usually, usually, unless it's a bad thing for you. So, when a certain person says that everybody that they're endorsing is winning, no, 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 that's actually not the case, and in fact, quite oftentimes, as this guy is endorsing people and they speak up for him, they are unpopular, and then they you take a huge dip in the numbers, huge. So, as I've stated before, current president is not very popular here. People do not like him. And we've obviously been talking about many reasons why over the past however long we've been talking about Donald. I mean, we've been talking about him for it's been a couple of years now that I started going down that road, that we started talking about Donald. And we didn't used to do a whole lot of political stuff, but at a certain point we started doing intelligent conversations. And just at a certain point there needs to be more people willing to discuss this stuff that are not intimidated. Because that's what he's doing. Nobody likes him. He's just shutting people up. And sometimes he does it with mergers and money and stuff that people can't do anything about. It's not their fault. Maybe they're kicking ass. Maybe they're winning awards, pulling in record ratings. Maybe. And some of it, not all of it, some of it is at Donald's expense because he's such an idiot. He's so easy to pick on. So easy to make a joke about because he's a joke. And again, that wouldn't be funny if he didn't rub it in your face so much that he thinks he's not. That he thinks he's worth randomly losing $1 trillion, guys. He thinks he's worth that. I've already talked about how much money that is before. But for all those that weren't here the day we were talking about like money and how much countries have, their debt versus what they actually have, things like that, what it's based on. $1 trillion sort of doesn't really exist. Doesn't. It's not real. But Donald, he lost it. Somehow he lost $1 trillion. Boy, that is some extra special kind of stupid. Like you're so smart, you actually came up with $1 trillion. Somehow. You manifested $1 trillion out of the budget. Hey, wow, so you're smart with money. Holy shit. And then and then you lost it. You know, I just sitting here sipping coffee, I'm cooler than that. Because you dude, you claim that you're like the money guy. You claim that you're the money guy. All I'm doing is making jokes, sipping coffee. And somewhere, this guy's getting real pissed off about this. And he wants to do something about it. You know, like instead of doing important shit. America. Fuck yeah. You know, right about now, it feels about the time where we're singing the slow version of that one. Where everything's like gone to shit. We we've reached 40 trillion in debt. 40 40 trillion. So remember how I said all the money in the world, if you add it all up, again, real money, not like stuff, money. It might equal maybe $1 trillion, maybe all of it. Okay. We're in debt 40 trillion. 40 of those. 40. 40. My lifespan times $1 trillion. Yep. Ah. Um, can we get this guy the fuck out of there already? Please? Can we just get him the fuck out of there? He does not know what the fuck he's doing. Hey, his words, not mine. Yeah, no, I know I swore 2 times already. I know. But his words, not mine, so. Hey, you know, remember, he's the most professional tippy top that you know, like that's the most coveted position of any position in the entire country, right? President of the United States. So I mean, like, if he can just say the F word right, like just right like that, just sort of regular now and insult people in the workplace. Does that mean, I guess that means just like anybody can do that now, right? I have a hard time probably with people in the workplace sort of doing stuff like that, and I'm saying, well, Trump, he does it. So I mean, the president does it. So again, then somebody getting distracted. So then they get manipulated. But I'm just saying, that's how it starts. They mimic him, model his behavior. They get distracted by him because he's their role model. He's their fan club thing instead of being a person they elect to do a job to run the military because he would be good at that, supposedly, because you think he would be. Instead, just implicitly, you want everybody to immediately vote for Trump, period, regardless of any fact. Or you don't have, like, again, you never had any credible reason either. Oh, because he's a good businessman. No, he wasn't. He never was. Proved that a million times. Declared bankruptcy like 5, 6, 7, 8,000 bajillion times, something like that. And then meanwhile, this guy was always crooked. He always hired criminals and stuff like that. Always. Why is my bitrate shifting around all over the place, man? Come on. That's not very nice. What are you doing? Stop that. This guy's always been crooked. He's always hired criminals. He's always done things like this. Why the shifty and the no move of the concurrence when you do that? Why? Why the shifty? Why are we shifting bitrate? Why is that weird? Record the stream after I'm done, please. If you're recording the stream, do it after I'm done. Because that's what... Please don't do that. I don't give a shit what you do with it when I'm done, as long as you don't post it. If you're a big network, that's okay. This guy's always been crooked, guys. Why'd you act like he was ever the guy? He's never been the guy. Oh, he's a guy! Why? Businessman. Businessman. He's a businessman. No, he's not. Because he wears a suit? Because somebody gave him a bunch of money? He inherited a whole bunch of money? What do you do with it? Yeah, that bitrate shift around, that's to remove views and likes. We've talked about this before. I'm like watching huge chunks of likes coming off the stream. We've talked about this before. So that was at like this was they had this at like 8, I believe, and then it started really nosediving when the bit rate started doing what it was doing. So again, consistently there's this, you know, Trump loving stalking weirdo attacking me, and he has an impersonation YouTube channel. He's been doxing my street address all over YouTube, all kinds of shit. And this is what the January 6th and ICE and all those people are doing. Like, this is what all of them are doing. They're literally just sitting here fucking around with people, botting, because this guy has like, so again, what is botting? Essentially a bot in a most general term is like what you think about in a video game if you're playing by yourself and you want to add like a computer player in like Halo or something, and the guy's just running around and you're like, man, this guy sucks. Again, it doesn't have to actually be the AI per se. The original AI that we used to call AI, we called that, used that term incorrectly. It was really just a fixed parameter bot, really. And easy, medium, hard sort of stuff, where just it's parameters. And they will have mannerisms and stuff like that. That's all. And it's just programmed to be a certain way, and that is a bot. Okay, that's it. So that is the most basic version of a bot that I can think of. So if you take this concept and apply it to YouTube, where you see all these people that get their accounts stolen, have abandoned accounts and stuff like that from people, scammers that would steal it, data mine, and try to like do essentially what this douchebag is doing here, make people look bad, steal their views, you know, like, I mean, come on. So basically, you know, in essence, what this person, what many other people are doing, what scammers are doing, is people that don't understand the internet and stuff like that. There's actually quite a number of them, quite a lot of them. And so when they're, you know, sort of like when you go to another country and you see a bunch of people standing on a street and you see them playing these street games and you have no idea it's a scam, sort of like most people are probably going to be able to figure out, what the fuck? There's obviously a goddamn scam. Like, what do you think they're getting out of that? Do you think these people just sit on the fucking street and play games all day? Oh, it's for tour. No. There's a spotter here. There's a guy in a leather jacket over here with a little hidden camera. They're taking your picture. Sometimes they're pickpocketing you. They're doing all kinds of stuff. So this guy, he's obviously getting shit out of this, pretending to be me. He's lying probably to somebody. I don't know exactly who, but he's already lied to probably many people and very clearly gotten to a certain point, so to speak. And so essentially, botting, BOT, would be the essence of automating that process, creating some version that this person doesn't have to interact with. They just set a parameter and get it to do a bunch of shit. So imagine that, but millions of them all over the platform. They're coming in your chat, spamming hashtag someone's name. Okay. This is obviously a concern because it's data manipulation. So especially like, all right, so like I don't disagree. Like I know that I don't necessarily disagree with what YouTube's doing, but here's the problem. Here's the big problem. So the botting is the big problem. Like the thing that they're gonna like the view thing. I don't actually necessarily disagree with it, but here's the problem. I've already talked about this. This stupid giant player that's up here that's above all this. Every single time I'm in this little control room, this thing auto plays every single freaking time I'm in here. The moment that I load it up, I have to pause it. So every single stream, I am gonna mistakenly interject a view of my own. And that's data. That's for scammers. That's for anybody that wants to use it as I'm streaming. I don't know that was a good idea to maybe, like is like as long as there's a parameter in there that stops that from, like let's say I refresh it a bunch of times, let's say I have to reload it a bunch of times. Other people do this. I'm not the only one that uses the control room. I mean, it's a function to use. So it essentially creating some sort of barrier where your use of this player has in absolutely no way interjecting any type of data or affecting your stream whatsoever. It shouldn't do that. That's the issue. And that's been the issue. Because then they can actually maliciously affect your stream because that's the issue. Like your stream key is essentially tied to everything in here. Like essentially this is your stream. And it's like, well, except now that's going to autoplay and, like problem. So like just think about all the things they can do where they're just screwing around with the driver for the player or something stupid like that, Like just the numerous things they could do. So that needs to be a separated a thing if they're gonna do that. Um, but you don't think it's gonna explode views like everybody thinks it will. Like, for example, aren't they still gonna have the same rule where you can't watch it? Like, it's not like, you come back and watch it later, it counts again or anything like that. I think it would still have to be a certain amount of time, right? Or maybe just once in general. No, I don't know. But like the whole point is that I think they're just trying to keep Like, if anything, that would it might actually help with scamming, because if the scammer's screwing around with your stream and sort of in there for a split second, they'll never know. But now there'll be metadata for everybody in there at every split second. So obviously the scammers know this, the certain scammers know this. Um and part of the issue is that you have to realize that people don't really think about it like that. They just think about it in the in the sense that, like, oh well, people are just gonna watch the stream a whole shitload of times. Well, but they can one view. So it would actually help with that botting, because then every one of those accounts where they try to do that, they're gonna know who's freaking doing that. They're gonna just know who's doing it. So, like, for example, for me, I pointed out to you that somebody's screwing me. There's plenty of examples of videos I've watched, but there's no, like, red bar. But then there's streams of my own where it said I watched the whole thing. I'm like, I never watched that. Like, granted, it's not like autoplay doesn't happen. It's not like I don't watch it once in a while here and there too for various reasons. But it's not every one. And really not all that often. And so, like, just to that's happening so much where I see the red bar, like I watch the whole it's like every other stream basically, and I'm not doing that. I haven't watched my own stream. It's been a while. I don't even remember. I watched Ricky. I watched Berwick. I don't think I watched. No, because I mean Ricky's funny and he's usually live, so like why would I care? Like, I already know what I said. So, like, for you guys to watch it, it makes sense. But I already know what's in the stream for the most part. Um, I mean, there might be various reasons why I would, though. But again, not every damn stream, and not every other either. It's really not all that often. It's a reasonable amount that I okay? So, like, with most of the stuff that I talk about, like, it's not like that. So, something's going on there where obviously that's very scammy, spammy, and that'll help to hopefully cut down on that too. So, um, I understand the thought behind thinking that it would balloon those views and stuff. But again, it's really just it should be one view per account, and then any of those bajillion things that where they have a bunch of accounts, it should all just be tied into one. So it shouldn't you know what I mean? Like, where essentially they'd be able to figure that out who's doing that a little bit better, like I said. So because again, the point is the scammer, like, they're hiding it. They know that there's a certain amount of window they have where they can come in and leave before it. You get what I'm saying? So that's a lot of how they're doing that, I think. Um so anyway, just throwing that stuff out there, and you know, obviously there's a real big concern, you know, over botting, but like I'm more concerned over, like, the fact that I just think that there's a lot of people that have, like, regular people watching their channel, and they're not people. And, like, maybe you think this person's like a regular supporter or a regular, you know, viewer of your channel or something like that, but they're actually not. They're just sort of like this guy, where he pretends to, you guys see me block a lot of people and stuff. It's because it's him. That's why. Like, I just, like, 90% of the time, it's just this dude making another freaking channel, trying to dox somebody's name or something like that. So, again, like what I said he was doing, he was sitting here using, um, like real people that he was like data mining like social media and then putting it on YouTube and then pretending to be those people. He was putting their like real pictures then as their icons on YouTube, putting their real names and stuff like that. So, just real scammy weird stuff. So anyway, let's talk a little, let's go back a little bit. Um I might actually get a little more coffee here. I ran out of coffee. Mind, you guys don't mind if I get a little more coffee, right? I need to get a little bit more because I kind of want a little bit more. Um, yeah, I'm okay. There's some stuff we got to talk about. So let me get a little bit of coffee here. One sec. All right. All right. So as you guys know, we have discussed these things obviously before, but we are going to discuss them again. So it's important to remember that um there at any given time there are a lot of different psyops and different propaganda campaigns coming out of all different kinds of countries around the world. Um, there's a really, really big war going on Okay, Ukraine-Russia war is a lot bigger than you think, and it's essentially possibly World War III. We have to be very careful. It is. It's essentially maybe World War III because of Iran too now, the Strait of Hormuz, everything Trump has been doing to push it that direction. You know, aligning with Kim Jong Un instead of NATO, which would be Europe. That's who our friends are. You're those are our friends. That's us. I don't. Do you guys know how many cars that we import and how many actors and just people in general that live here that are from the UK? Can you understand? Can you appreciate that? Because we've been friends with them all the time. They're our friends. How many North Koreans do you know? Are there just a bunch of famous North Koreans around? No, I didn't think so. But I will tell you one thing. I can literally name many, many South Koreans. Many. Off the top of my head. Why can I do that? Because remember again, if we were a dictatorship, if we were like North Koreans, instead of being more like South Korea, which was a democracy, a free country. Again, if we were more like North Korea, we'd know them more, we'd be more like them. I wouldn't even be able to talk about South Korea. Because remember, it's illegal to listen to K-pop in North Korea. Totally, it's illegal. Illegal music, guys. Illegal. Yep. But I can sit here and Kim Hee-chul, South Korean. Lee Dong-hae, South Korean. Choi Siwon, South Korean. I could keep going. There's plenty more members of Super Junior left. Let's see, have Unhook. They prefer to be called their stage names, I think, though, so I won't sit here and try to say their actual name. Ryuk, if Ryuk. we could keep going. Lee Tuk, you got Lee Tuk. You got Yi-sung. We could keep going. You got Shindong. We could keep going. We all miss Sungmin, even though he got married and he does his own stuff now. We still love him. You got Sungmin. I miss Kangen. You got Kangen. Why can't I name all these South Koreans? I could name probably every member of BTS too. I could name almost every member, probably every member twice off the top of my head. I probably wouldn't need help. Probably name every member of aespa. Any other of the groups that I choose to listen to, I typically just try to remember their names. Sometimes there's a lot of them. Why can I do this if we're not friends with South Korea? Why do I have a picture of Super Junior hanging on that wall back there? No, I know my background thing's up. But it's there. It's been there. That's what that is. You know, like the next to Zach Wild. Not really next to him, but like if Zach Wild is here on that wall and he's a little bit further down, up on that wall, sort of like the other way. That's actually the one that's like above the Elden Ring and the Naruto thing. The one that's above that. That's Super Junior. I have one right there too. So if that's, I have Zach right there as well, by the way. He's in 2 places. So with that being said, if I had to take my Ozzy, I have Ozzy posters, but they got so, like, I gotta get it framed. It got so messed up over the years. I just took it down. I didn't want to put it up anymore. But anyway, why is it that I can sit here and I can name all of these different South Korean people if we're not friends with South Korea? Let me remind you. Hyundai. Samsung. Is it LG? Is LG? Are they another one? I know Samsung and Hyundai. Yeah. Yeah. The ones that certain cops are engineered to just declare that they just blow up, you know. That's what they think. Yeah, they just Hyundais, they just I swear to God, apparently some cops think that. So that's not a real, just to let you know, that's not a real statistic. That is a very strange thing to sort of declare, actually. Because it's not real. Not really based on anything. Okay. If that were the case, they'd be deemed unsafe for the road. And you know, like it would take, you know what I mean? Like there'd just be like they'd have to recall them. Like there would just be all these different things they'd have to do. And you're just like, well, they, you know, some cops they'll literally just be like, yeah, Hyundais, they catch fire. That's what they'll say. They'll just say it. It's so strange that they would think that, isn't it? It's like they don't like South Korean made vehicles or something. Like they just, you know, like the joke in Back to the Future. You know, that's what that meant, right? Because like, so the whole point is there were still people at the time that felt the way they felt about Japan because of the whole Pearl Harbor thing. So again, we love Japan, but again, like this is just generational problems where if you remember, Marty had to kind of chime in a little bit where Doc went, he was he was the past version dealing with all the stuff at that time actually. And so like they were if you remember they were finding the DeLorean, right? And so they find, because remember it was technically the same Doc that had already helped him, right? So they had to go find the DeLorean that he stashed somewhere, and um they find it, and like they're talking about it. He's like, oh, no wonder none of this stuff works. All this stuff here is made in Japan or something, like, or no, these parts are made in Japan. And then Marty's like, Doc, all this stuff's made in Japan. It was the second one I said. But the point behind that joke is that it's not because it's made in Japan it's just that he thinks that it's funny because you look at it like that. You look at it like, well, he's just doing that because he thinks that way. He's a little bit prejudiced because he's from that time. It's not actually bad because it's from Japan. If anything, the whole point was at the time, Sony, all that stuff was moving up. Like the point was Japan was making strides. Like that was the whole point, was that no, like at the time that was the quality stuff. Like um you get what I'm saying? Like sort of like South Korea did with Hyundai, where it was um pretty quality and affordable, and that's how they made their way in the market. A lot of car makers, that's what they have to do, and that's how it goes. I mean, like that's how business works, man. You don't start with your prices too high. Nobody wants your product. Why would they care? You and then if you're so full of yourself, you eventually raise them to that anyway, then you're missing you're passing up your original reason why your original customers came to you in the first place. So anyway, um anyway anyway uh getting a little off track there. But you know we want to talk a little bit about, obviously, South Korea and North Korea, and when I think some of these psyops are in some of these countries where it's very controlled. Their free speech is controlled. Their like even their education is controlled. Like they're not even allowed to learn so much about certain subjects and things like that. And so you have to understand that I think that some of the stuff, like there's plenty of stuff that we don't know about, is what I'm getting at. Regardless of what we still know, and the very few people that have been able to tell us some things about North Korea that have defected and gotten away, it's still very minimal. Like we there may be a lot of stuff that's still going on that they didn't experience, that we don't know about, and things like that. So, for example, there are other countries like North Korea too that sort of have dictatorships and control the concepts of free speech and what you say about the president and all that. One of these countries is Russia, because Russia is supposed to be, a country that has elections and all that, but Putin rigs his own elections, assassinates the competition, and put an illegal amendment in there that says he's president till like 2030 something. So dictatorship. So what I think that they do is I think that they lie to these other countries about the US because we are such a household name. And they actually depend on that so that they can continue lying about us and then doing slightly less worse things than they lie about, essentially. So if they lie about something that the US is doing and it's far worse than what they're doing, they look better because we're the household name. So, for example, the war between North and South Korea, they tell them that the US caused that. That's what they tell them. And again, we have nothing to do with that war. Yes, while at times, obviously the U.S. has caused some more tensions here and there, typically we've actually surprisingly not gone around and caused a lot of wars. Surprisingly. That's actually more recently, like Afghanistan, Iraq, and this, like Iran and stuff like that. That's actually only more recently. We typically just retaliate. Very, very typically. So, example, Japan, the nukes, that was because Pearl Harbor was attacked. We, like, our literal homeland, Pearl Harbor, is a base here. And the Japanese attacked it. That's why we nuked the Japanese. Period. Okay? So, and that sent the message for the war to be over. They were very concerned. That ended the war, let's be honest. Endless fighting, and everybody was suddenly scared of us. That ended the war. So, because Germany and all that stuff, like, Hitler was crazy, and the Nazis knew it, but they were, like, the whole point was, well, what are the Nazis going to do? Like, it's such a massive... So, just the fear of the U.S. and all that, it really, really, really played a huge factor in them making a lot of mistakes and us winning over the war over the Germans too. So anyway, a lot of this is their mistakes they blame on the US or just somebody else, okay? And I think that some of these things that, like with Putin, for example, Russia is the largest country on the planet by geographical area, period. Okay? And I think that Putin lies about this to his people and tries to say that it's the US. Even though the US isn't even second. Actually, second is Canada. So it actually makes me think that he lies and says that, like, Canada is like a state or something like that because they're such a close ally and they're even embedded in our culture and stuff like that, that I just think, like, there's actually a lot of actors that are from Canada, that are Canadian, that you probably wouldn't even realize. Mike Myers, isn't he Canadian? I'll bet a lot of people probably don't even know that. So, there's a lot of their culture embedded in ours, and if Putin convinces them that the entire North American continent, Mexico, plus Alaska being our biggest state, Canada being the second largest country, well then, yeah, if you added Canada, you added all the US, you added Mexico, all that. I mean, Mexico's pretty big too. Yeah, we'd obviously be the largest by size area pretty easily, I think, but that's not the case. Obviously, what's behind me, the thing that you see behind me, that is the United States. That's what odds. You go into any school and anywhere, that's going to be the map that they pull out. So that's why, like, down here too, like, I'm sort of covering it down here too. You see Alaska, because Alaska's way up here. It sits off the tip of Canada, actually, and is only connected very, 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 very slightly. But really, it's connected to Canada, and almost it is so close to Russia. You can literally see Russia from parts of Alaska. So, it is very, very close to Russia. But for example, on the other side, Maine, there's parts of Maine that are very close to Greenland. And that's the man, that is way over there. That's almost UK, Ireland, almost. Not quite, but there's a bit of an ocean there. But you get my point. Like the geographic area of where it is. So it's important to remember that the United States, what we do here is, for the most part, they don't lie to us in our schools and stuff like that. For the most part, we are educated on geography and not lied to about that and stuff. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gone to space. Otherwise, like, flight travel, and like, we wouldn't be very good at this. Does that make sense? Like Elon Musk wouldn't, like the whole SpaceX thing. Like, a lot of that stuff would be more like dampened, and like the government would have gotten in the way, because they wouldn't want you to know, what it looks like. So it's the sort of thing where, like, you can see evidence of that. Um, so anyway, this is how I think at least Putin anyway, lies lies to his people. Obviously, I think that there's a good number of people that are going to find out that that's bullshit, because Russia, that, I mean, like, they're, you know, touristy and a lot more free-ish than a lot of the nations are, because they are supposed to be a democracy, I believe, or some variation of that. Because, again, at the end of the Cold War, um, they were supposed to, just have an election presidential system. They were supposed to do kind of, what we were telling them they needed to do. That was the whole point, and they didn't do that, really. They had Boris Yeltsin and then Putin. That was that. And Putin's been there, I think, since the 80s, right? Or no, we covered this before the 90s. I'm sorry, the 90s. He's been there since the 90s. I'm sorry. 90s. Been there since the 90s. Sorry. Covered this before. It's very wishy-washy when you look at his time in office, because he's trying to convince people now that he's only been there since, I think, around the time Obama took office, right? I think that's what he's trying to do. Oh my god, he was there for a lot longer than that. I think we decided it was 97, right? I think something like that. He's been there since Clinton's, at least. I know that. So that would fit. So this is what you have to realize about Putin is, like, I think people just don't realize that, like, and don't look anything up, like, Putin's not, you know, a role model by any means. What is this? Like, what do you see this? Like, no adults come in here and remove their likes throughout the stream. Like this is just blatant censorship. Do you guys see this? This is what we've been talking about. No adults fucking do this shit. Like it's just blatant censorship. So, let's remind ourselves. Russia is the largest country by geographic region, then it's Canada, then it's the United States. In that order. Okay? Now, as far as the most people, India, China. And India and China each have 1 billion people. India has about 1.5 billion. China has 1 billion. Billion people. Now, China is about the size of the United States. China is about the size of the United States. It's not like, now it is sort of big. That is pretty big, but it's not like Russia big. And they got 1 billion people. Lots of mountains. Now, India. Oh, India. And India's not as big as China. It's not. It's not. And they got almost 1.5 billion people. It's about 1.5 billion. I think it's 1.4, right? 1.3, 1.4 billion, something like that. There's a lot. That is a huge percentage of the world population. Right there in those two countries. Right there. Gee. I wonder why so many scams come out of those countries. Oh, because they can't properly police them. Now you know why they're so obsessed. Foreigners are so obsessed with our police and like, do you get it now? Their police are like a joke. They are. We police, like the cops here too, act like their hands are tied behind their backs and stuff. We police like military. You do not get it. In other countries, police can't do what they can do here. They just can't. They really can't. You police here get away with being immune to violating the law. You can't violate the law as a cop. You physically can't. You can go around and do a bunch of fucking illegal shit and get away with it. You can. And you just get fired. This is the difference. That's a big fucking problem. Big. And truthfully, our system where we just throw people in jail and don't actually correct their behavior is a massive issue. It creates criminal-like behavior in your society, where you are breeding your society, like essentially just poor people, to be criminals. So then all Donald has to do is just find the most desperate of the desperate and hand them some money, take care of their family, and he'll do whatever the fuck he says. Is that a problem? It's how the CIA manipulates people too. People aren't going to do that job if they ain't got a paycheck. Why would you do it even for a paycheck? Is money important to you? Why? Because the United States taught you that? So, like Donald Trump he has all this money, or his problems gone? This guy loses $1 trillion overnight. Elon Musk, his best bud now, and he's like the richest guy, like, period, ever. And they got a lot of problems, don't they? A lot. I mean, apparently Elon Musk's own son's punching him in the face. Apparently. And you know, well, Trump, he doesn't even, like, I can't even stay awake, so you know, like, I mean, like, come on. Why do you do this? Why do we do this? Why are we taught this? I'm not saying, you know, people shouldn't have discipline about themselves, obviously. That's not what I'm saying. Don't mince words. But obviously what I'm saying is there needs to be a point to that, just like anything can be radicalized. It was a stupid joke, by the way. Like, his heart's in the right place, but it was a stupid fucking joke. Nobody thought it was funny. It was the dumbest shit. Oh, yes, haha, radical means cool. Oh, boy. Oh, what a knee slapper that was. Anyway. It's like, listen, I am trying to help. And it's like when I sat here and I made fun of Bernie. But, like, you guys know I love Bernie. I fucking love Bernie. How do you not love Bernie? That dude's amazing. And then you don't, like, Bernie doesn't fucking care. He'll probably just laugh at the thing if he saw it. And then people were like, it was almost like that was the reaction, you know, like, it's almost like that was the reaction I was getting, like, Bernie? You know, like, cool your jets. Cool those jets, man. Cool them. If there's one person that's been saying the same shit as me, it's Bernie Sanders, okay? We all love Bernie. I'm trying to help out. The point is, I am the guy that's bipartisan. I've told you this. I'm the center of the road guy. So if whatever I tell you is what they're going to say. And so they come here and look for it sometimes, they do. And they're going to find it. But you need to realize that all they're going to do is find it a little bit slower if they don't find it here, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm directly giving it to you. Question is what you do with it. Don't be all insulted like your precious little feelings are hurt and shit like that. That's the wokeism that they keep talking about. Stop doing that. That's the problem. You look weak when you do that. It's not the power move. Now, Donald does that shit all the time. Stop. Don't do the Donald. Okay? The point is, trying to help. Because some of these guys, some of these Democrats, you know, I mean, legitimately, they're good politicians, and they're gonna do the job. They really will try to the ends of the earth to represent you and do the job the best it really will. but they are just dumb as a doornail when it comes to understanding how to relate. They will say the dumbest shit, and then all the Republican has to do is he got to come along here. All he got to do is just have this Southern accent, and you'll listen to whatever the hell he has to say. You don't give a shit, a hoot and holler about nothing. All he got to do have this sort of accent, and that's all it takes, man. That's that's all it takes. And you're gonna hear everything that man has to say. That's that bread and butter. That's that fine wine that you like. It's so good. Yeah, that's how easy it is. It shouldn't be an act. It shouldn't be an act. Stop it with that. Like them for what they say. Don't be fooled by the sales pitch. The meme where he slaps the hood. That's that one. The hood slapping meme. Question is, what shit's gonna blow up when that Republican slaps that hood, okay? All right. remember the point of it. What's he slapping it for? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Why is he pointing that out? It's a tactic. I remember I was buying a car one time, and right when I was about to buy it, the dude literally came around the corner with another one right in front of us. Obvious tactic. He's like, I'll sell you this one for a little bit cheaper than the. Oh, yeah, I wonder what's wrong with that one. Literally, he drove it like in front of me. I swear to God, like the guy disappeared. He's like, I'll be right back. I'm gonna take care of. I'm gonna see, blah blah blah. And he comes back, rolls on by, stops in front of. He just has this car, and he's like, "I'll sell you this one for a little bit cheaper." Oh yeah. How about I get the one that I came here for? Yeah. How about we do that? That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Uh, yeah, I know it's fine. It's like that. That's why, like, if you ever have a friend that's why you take someone with you. Okay, like, truthfully, there's politics in everything. Okay, that's why you don't listen to the fucking Republican every time. Okay, wouldn't you rather the dumb, awkward nerd that's gonna be honest with you, right? Suddenly, oh yeah, huh? Because that's who the Dems are. They're the nerds that are just good at law. They're the academics. And the Republicans are the people that were handed money. That's what you're looking at right now in our government. Is literally what you're looking at. So Another thing that Kim Jong Un, North Korea lies to their people about is they try to convince them that it's like North Korea is like all developed and stuff like other countries is and stuff like that. That's just not true at all. Not even close. Um, a lot of the way he does this is he builds up Pyongyang and puts all this shit there and spends all this money, but it's just to fool those people. And then they're not allowed outside of the city and stuff. They know. They know. They know. They're kept there. They're gonna know. The point is that all those people that like that were sad that like when Kim Jong Il died and all that stuff. The reality is that like I wonder how many people just didn't know him. They don't fucking care. What do they care? They don't know this guy. If anything, hey, regime change, maybe we're free. You know what I mean? Like they don't. And so like they're like there's these videos of them like freaking out, throwing themselves around, and it's some of the worst acting I've actually ever seen. Some of it is. Some of it's really, really bad. And you know, they're doing it because they're afraid they have to, you know. If they don't do it, you know, they're gonna get shot just because they didn't act sad enough. Why I wonder why my bit rate's shifting around. I wonder boy, man. I wonder why holy shit. Wow. I wonder what's going on there. Conveniently right as I mentioned what I did about North Korea there. That's some pretty interesting censorship going on. I wonder why we'd be targeting that particular type of speech. Why are we removing likes? You know what I think is interesting? Here all right, so let me just say this too, okay? First of all, um let me just put this out there. This evolution's weird sometimes. Okay? Evolution's really weird sometimes. Um, Asian people are typically like shorter than Europeans and Americans. Evolution's just weird. And so like this is by a good bit actually. This is by a good bit. So when you look at Kim Jong Un and you look at how short he is, like he's actually pretty short. And so are most Asians. Okay? I'm like 6'3". I'm like 6'3". I would be sort of short for an NBA basketball player. Okay? I would actually be short for an NBA basketball player. And I'm 6'3". So like this is what you have to realize. Like there's plenty of people in this country that are taller than me. Like Kim Jong Un and all these, like they don't have to feel that way just because they're short. That doesn't mean anything. So what? Like that this is part of the issue. Part of the issue is that they feel that way. Well, why do they feel that way? So, that's how I think the US could like assist in other ways and stuff like that. Like little things like that me- sometimes make a huge difference to him. So like for example, Dennis Rodman's not a very tall basketball player. He was friends with Dennis Rodman. How tall is Dennis Rodman? Hold on. He's not very tall. I don't think. Hold on. He's 6'7". Yeah, he's taller than me. So that's actually pretty average. Official NBA height, 6'7". That is very tall for a person. Very, very tall. But that's actually pretty average as far as NBA is concerned. So, like, there's a significant amount of people that are taller than me. Significant. But there's also a significant amount. Like, think about all the Asians and Indian people and stuff like that. Indian people, they're not necessarily known for being tall, but they're not really short either. But just think about the vast majority of people in China. Like just the billion, if you think about just a billion people in China, okay? Asian people are shorter. They are. They are. That's real. That's not a made up. So the question is, why is my bitrate shifting around all over the place? Well, because North Korea allows them to visit these countries like China and stuff like that because those people do look shorter and smaller like them most of the time. That's why. Um, for example, South Korea has a lot more people that actually are the height that they are here. More of it. Yeah. Um, it's usually when they're mixed, like half Chinese, half Japanese, or half this or half that, that you actually do see like a shorter height or something like that. Yeah. So like, why, why lie about this? Why run misinformation about this? Why not just be honest about genetics and stuff like that? Because if you're honest about those things, eventually the point is you figure out diseases or disorders or genetic things that are faulty that you can address, you can fix. If you keep lying, you keep lying, and you keep lying, you're you're gonna be your own destruction. You're telling all your doctors and stuff that you're tall, and you're not. Well, got news for you. There's, you know, People that are taller and their body mass index is larger, sometimes they take stronger prescription meds and things and stuff like that. Considerable. You know what I mean? It's just like they use a stronger tranquilizer on a freaking elephant or a gorilla than they would, something smaller, right? Yeah. And we don't harm animals, by the way. Notice I said tranquilizer. Okay. Trophy hunting is illegal for a reason and should remain that way. Trump's disgusting, filthy family trophy hunts. Yeah. And they made it legal again for them to transport animals that they have trophy hunted from all over the world, like tigers and stuff like that. What fucking disgusting piece of shit. That goes out and shoots a tiger and calls it a sport. So you didn't develop the gun. Technology did. You didn't need it. You don't live in the jungle. You're not surviving. You are intelligent enough to know what you're doing. You went out there, sought out this beast animal, knowing what it is, knowing that to stupid people, they'll look at this like a trophy because they're stupid. They don't understand. They're just going out. They don't look at it like that. They should. What the hell's the matter with you? That's what they're doing. That's what his kids do. Trophy hunting? That means they're shooting elephants and stuff. What the fuck? That elephant, that tiger is just trying to exist, man. Why did I just watch all the icons on my desktop refresh while this is going on? While you're lying, while you're hacking my system to do this. Why did I just watch all the icons on my desktop refresh? Why did I just watch that happen? Meanwhile, the bitrate shifted around all over the place. You're lying about views. You're lying about views left and right. Now, this is a definitive hack into my system. If I did an internet speed test right now, I guarantee you, I did an internet speed test before I started, just like I always do, and it was fine. But if I did it right now, I guarantee you, it would be absolutely nothing. And I guarantee you that they're using my internet to do this hacking that they're doing, and it is costing my internet. And I'm going to document this and send this on over to my lawyer. Is what I'm going to do. How interesting. How interesting. How interesting the reaction. Interesting, isn't it? Yep. And then there's the hack again, as you can see here. As you can see in the top right corner, the stream's bitrate moving around. Again, my internet, I've already proven to you guys that I can sit here and have run two streams at the same time, 3 streams if I really wanted to, watch something on YouTube, and have other people doing shit with my internet all at the same time and not have a single fucking problem. Oh yeah, interesting how we're spamming confetti right the very second that I confirm this and I say this. Again, it's just literally endless shit to convince stupid, desperate people that lolcows are real. If you see this term, it's a scam. There's a scam network of good people going around stalking, doxing, and harassing people. This is a scam. Do not repeat it. Do not make content on it. Unless, again, you're a scammer. Okay? It is a scam. You will be looked at as a scammer. Do not continue. That is a way for them to recruit you and get you to join their gang of internet mindless sheep that go around, dox, stalk, and harass. Again, it's not a real thing. People are just content creators or they're not. People are going to do well or they aren't. They aren't there for your ridicule, for you to stalk them, dox them, harass them. That's criminal behavior. It's harassment. It's online stalking. It's federally illegal. And I've already threatened lawsuit against YouTube many times. They're fully aware of my position. At any given time, I can serve them papers, and you continue to do this. I can serve them papers at any given time. Literally. And here you continue. I promise you, the moment that I serve them papers, you're done. Because this is going to be a very expensive thing for YouTube. You do not want that to happen. My lawyer loves the idea, by the way. Just to let you know. He wants to get rich. Yeah. Everybody's suing YouTube, so this will jump on. Here's a mistake you make. Oh, he can't say that if he's going to sue. That'd be a mistake to think that I can't say that. Huge. And that I wouldn't have a fail-safe for all these times that I have said that. Huge mistake. Huge. All the times where I sue the fucking shit out of Microsoft. Yeah, I can say that. It's okay. I'm not gonna tell you why it's fail-safe. That'd be boy, that'd be dumb. No, that would be stupid. Do you know why this piece of trash thinks he can do this? Do you know why this piece of trash thinks he can do this? Now, again, he's gonna get sued massively. Because he thinks that we don't know who he is. That's why. That's why. That's why he keeps doing it. I already have your IP address, so I've already told you this like a bajillion times. Stealing my shit. My views, my trending. So look, if you look at this, this is how many views they're counting on the stream. That's it. So you see there's 17 people in here at any given time. I mean, like, this is bullshit. This is complete fucking nonsense. 49 views? That's just a complete fucking lie. So that's where you see them literally doing this for the specific purpose of lying about how many views we're actually getting. So, I mean, you know, we have your IP address. We're documenting what you're doing. So, I've shown you plenty of times that we can prove that you're removing shitloads of views. I have your IP address sitting here. Over and over and over, I've got it. And you're spamming all kinds of emojis and interacting with the stream, and you just can't help yourself. Oh, it's me, it's me, it's me. I'm the one attacking him. I'm the one. It's me. I'm the piece of shit. Look at me. Everybody look at me attacking somebody. Yeah. Again, if this was an active view count, it'd be moving. This is why they're doing this, because it disrupts the view count. It disrupts the trending. It disrupts what it's supposed to disrupt. So the YouTube's trash fucking piece of shit system can't. It's that simple. It's every stream. Every single one. I mean, it's literally just not even moving. 17 viewers, 13, 13. Like all these viewers. And this is where they started, where it started really capping here, and then it started just diving down, and then they just capped it. You can see it just a flat line where it gets capped. I mean, that's when you know they're capping it. And again, this just halts. I mean, it's just blatant lies. So how are there this many people in the stream? You can see it up here. How are there this many people in the stream? And you're sitting here trying to pretend like that view count is 49. Just that after almost 2 hours. After almost 2 hours. And completely like totally made up. Oh, now we just interjected 2 more views. Hey guys, look, just 2 more. There you go. That's how many they're actually counting. Just 2 more. There it is. Just 2 more. Notice what this does too, as they count them. The more views they count, even though there's plenty of people in here, there's actively lots of concurrence in here, yet this, for some reason, goes down the more views they count, even though there's plenty of people actively in here. No, that'd be if, you know, a shitload of people are all in and out, in and out, in and out. If there's constantly a certain number, you're doing the math wrong, retard. And this is where they get it wrong every stream. Like, these people are actually this retarded where they don't know how to do math. That's how I know it's the Trump administration. They're this fucking stupid. Where literally they do it wrong. Where they have all these people in here, supposedly this many people in here, all at the same time, yet this average view duration consistently goes down. The more people that are in here, the longer they're in here. And it's just a blatant scam where they're obviously doing that so they can steal those watch time hours because they've learned that that's money. So Trump is stealing everybody's money. You know that. You guys know that. Well, he's stealing it directly out of our pockets. Directly. You know that. What a piece of trash. What a literal piece of trash. So I've already talked about this, but you know, I mean, we're gonna be you know, suing the Trump administration, filing a lawsuit for oh man, many different things. There's a list. And this goes beyond being bad at your job. It's the sort of thing where not only are you bad at your job, you're so bad at your job, it's affecting me in a way where my everyday life, I am harassed, stalked, threatened. My way of life, my existence is threatened because you're bad at your job. That's a big, valid fucking reason to sue the Trump administration. They're actually so fucking bad. My existence as a person on the planet is threatened. That's how fucking trash Donald Trump is at his job. Where I'm a citizen in the United States. And I am mistreated consistently, regularly. Because I don't like what he does and I talk about it. got news for you. If you don't like something, you're supposed to talk about it. Even Donald Jackass Trump does that. Boy, he tells us right away when he doesn't like something. He calls reporters piggy and stuff like that. Yeah, he has choice words for them too. So, and he's not sitting behind a stream saying it. He's not just getting on the internet. No, they're right in front of him. He can see who they are. You know, it's not like just a random person typing in a fucking chat. No, they're right in front of him. He can see who they are. Notice how when I said that, there was a slight shift on the bit rate there. Just ever so. Notice how when I said that? Interesting. Very interesting. Just as interesting as getting 8 likes, a whole bunch of likes, and then them just getting removed. As if, you know, all these adults would just come back into the stream and remove their likes. Do you remember when they would do this? And there wasn't even enough people in the stream to have removed that amount of likes? Remember when they used to make that mistake? They're so fucking stupid. They would remove more likes at any given time that it actually have people in the stream. So then it was obvious that they were just removing them in mass quantity. Do you remember that? I do. Do you remember all the times they removed all these views and they got so sloppy they didn't remove enough likes? Remember that? All the times where you could go around and you could actually see more likes on the stream than counted views. Well, that means they removed a shitload of fucking views because there can't possibly be more likes on the stream than views. Because how did you like it if you didn't go in to like it? This happened many times. Not just once, not even just twice. Many. More than 3. Considerably more. They're this dumb. This many times. This incompetent. Where they're obviously trying to rig something. They're obviously trying to get to something here. They're trying to figure something out. And they're hiring this douchebag, this douchebag, this douchebag. They're hiring anybody they can to figure this shit out, jailbreak the fuck out of this thing. And meanwhile, nobody can do it. Not a single. All they can manage to do is sit here and fuck around with YouTube. Oh, they can get that. They can really screw with that. But what can they do when you're counting physical ballots? So hence why he's trying to get everything. Oh, these mail-in ballots. Oh, it's fraud. Dirk. No. Pencil and paper. That's what you want. Well, just physical in general. It's more that. You know what I'm saying? It's physical in general. Not a digital representation. So it's definitely about that. Then, Trump's been dancing around this whole World War III thing, trying to pressure it getting that way. Putin's trying to take over his section of the world. Trump's trying to take over his section of the world. And then Kim Jong Un, they're probably going to try to say that, oh, we'll give you the islands. You can have the islands. So Japan's going to have something to say about that. So, I think it's funny that Trump doesn't look, again, his height. He lies about how tall he is and stuff like that. He tries to claim he's like tall and stuff. But then when he stands next to Kim Jong Un, he's not that tall. Trump doesn't look that much taller than the guy. So what you have to realize is, I think at one time Trump may have been like 6'1" or 6'2" at one time. I think so. But with old age, with his posture, with his slouching, he's not even close to that. The knees and just everything. Yeah, like it's the spine, but it's the knees too. It's everything. Okay, I mean he isn't. He's probably like 5'10", 5'11". He probably lost a couple inches. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, but he doesn't look 6'1", 6'2". And so Kim Jong Un likes that. That's the point. Trump's saying he's this tall, but he's not. So standing next to Kim Jong Un, it makes him look good because he's always been saying he's taller than he is too. That guy's like 5'6", 5'7", maybe. He's telling everybody he's 6 foot. I think he is. I think he's telling everybody he's like 6 foot. I don't know. Like even like I think Choi Si-won in South Korea. He's one of the taller like South Koreans I can think of. And I think even he's like 6'1", right? I don't think he's like that tall, like for example, Dennis Rodman, 6'7". Okay. Yeah, compared to me, that's tall. I mean, that guy, I'd be like this, if I was standing right in front of him. That's tall, man. But again, I want to reiterate that even I'm tall compared to sort of average height, okay? Dennis Rodman's taller than me, and he's average height in the NBA. So I'd actually be pretty short for the NBA. And that's accurate. I mean, there's reasons for those players too. But I'm just saying, like 6'7" in the NBA, that's average. So like, like I don't know, isn't Shaq, how tall is Shaq? Hold on. I think he's really tall. Shaquille O'Neal height. Yeah, he's 7'1". Shaq is 7'1". Okay, do you see what I'm saying? Shaq is literally 7'1". He's taller than 7 feet. That's tall. That's NBA. That guy probably touched the rim. Yeah, that's why like a ball looks like nothing in his hands. The dude is literally a giant. Okay? I have pretty big hands. I actually do. I really do. But that dude's a monster. Okay? So Dennis Rodman's even taller than me. Okay? Shaquille O'Neal's even taller than that, and the dude is big. You run into that guy, you ain't going anywhere. Yeah, he was good too. He was actually a good player too. Fun to watch. He could actually shoot. So, do you see what I'm saying? Like where it's like a bracket. He's picking like a safe bracket. Okay. And then Dennis Rodman looks so different. With that guy, like I just feel like they just won't know how to take it. He just looks so different. It's fine. You know, like literally the guy's tattoos like head to toe. He's got piercings head to toe. He's got colored hair all the time. So to them, yeah, like he would just they wouldn't even think about it like that. So it works. See what I'm saying? Versus like if you would have picked Shaq, where he's significantly taller, and he's like more of a normal looking dude, they'd be like, where the hell's this guy from? He's an American? They're that big? Well, he doesn't look that different from us. You see what I'm saying? That's what he doesn't want them to do. He doesn't want them to start doing that. He wants to segregate you. So, with that being said, can you understand like there's a very delicate side to all of this. Following such a logic, you can understand how like over time when you look at this and you follow the logic, can you appreciate the fact that like there could be dozens of different things that you can extrapolate from that, where it would affect, again, like that's just one example. Think about how many other times in culture and society we have things kind of like this, where they could run psyops or things like that to rile up, segregate, or just cause more crap for us. That in turn makes them just look better as a country. And with Trump in charge, we have no way of knowing whether that's actually happening. He would benefit from that. The point is he wants to remain president forever and stuff kind of like this, where he can't really do that. So the point is like the more he can do to demoralize the US in general, citizens and stuff like that, I think he looks at that like, that helps him, where everybody here is against him now. Like that he's probably realized that at this point, nobody likes him. And so like he's essentially the enemy of the state. Um and so like that is kind of the point is, he's definitely he's going to use those things to his advantage the more he knows about them. So that, again, just like him admitting that he's fine with China cyber attacking us and all that. Remember, that's what he said. Coming back from China, when asked about it, he was totally nonchalant. He was totally fine with that. His words. He said, no, they cyber attack us, so or we cyber attack them, so why shouldn't they cyber attack us? And stuff like that. Um. So wait. So first of all, he's admitting that we cyber attack them. Wait, what? So let's talk about that. But secondly, that what? No. No, like that's your president admitting that he's fine with their government. I mean, this is the guy that made an entire virus software, like banned a virus software in our country because one of his federal agents got breached at his home. If you remember, he did that. Yeah, like essentially, his federal agent's a fucking moron, had some sort of problem. So Trump bans a virus software because one of his federal agents that's a fucking moron gets hacked at his home. Again, it's like all the other stuff they're doing that makes it easier for scammers to attack us in the United States. They're doing that right now. They've been done doing that. Putting us on an all wireless grid where there's no hardwired connections anymore. This causes huge instability issues. Huge. So that's one. That's a great way for them to gain access. Direct access too, by the way, and steal it all the time. So they're just going to steal our internet because you're not on the other end of that connection. So they're just going to DDoS you and us when you can't do it back. So that's what that does. So they did that. So I mean, you may as well just say that's pretty much it already. But again, he's literally admitting to letting them cyber attack us. And, that was already going on. It was already a problem. Billions are already being lost every year to scams from people from India, just India. And he's talking about how, oh yeah, it's fine for China to do it too. How are we ever going to get away from debt with this fucking guy? He keeps costing us money. So we're losing billions to India and scams, and you don't want to do anything about that? And you're the businessman. It's very business-like. What? Anytime that businessman doesn't come in and start balancing the budget, he ain't no businessman. Mm-mm. Anytime he starts adding to the debt, he ain't no businessman. No, the point is the businessman is supposed to come in and tighten the belt. That's what the businessman's gonna do. He's gonna be like, well, that's a thing that's really good. That's a thing that's really good. So we need these things. These are all important, 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 important. Good for economy, good for economy. So that's good. That's good for money. But what about all this stuff here where now we have our administration, his administration has just randomly defunded things, just randomly defunded things, and that costs money to do that actually. So you, so it goes away and you're defunding it, but now you just have this endless pit of shit that you didn't do anything with. So you defunded it, but it served a purpose. So what does that mean? You should, if you're gonna vote for the businessman that's gonna fuck up your country, you should be able to tell me what that means. When you just randomly defund something that has a purpose, what happens? People lose jobs. And essential jobs too. So not only is that less jobs, but now it's in addition to that a shock to our country, because now you've taken away jobs while we already need economy. We need people earning, but now you've taken away jobs just by defunding something, and who knows what you're doing with the funding that was there. But meanwhile, these were essential. They were actually doing things to help, like when he defunded the Environmental Protection Agency. So all that brown water that town is gonna have to pay a fortune to do something about now. Maybe people are dying from it, getting sick, that sort of thing. Oh yeah, but we're just gonna have police show up to their house and tell them we don't like them talking about it on social media. Well, it's illegal. Talk about whatever the fuck they want. It's illegal. Can't use police funds to show up at people's house to pressure them to not exercise their free speech. That's actually terrorism. So your police are terrorists now. It's true. I mean, you're getting paid money to enforce law, serve and protect the community, and you actually literally show up at somebody's house for the opposite. If anything, you should show up to ask if you can assist. You heard about this, and this is terrible. Your water's brown. I'm very concerned for your well-being. If there's anything I can do, please let us know. That's what you should have done. You showed up and actually pressured them. You're terrorist. You're the opposite of police. It's literally the opposite of what you're supposed to fucking do. You made these people fear speaking about whether their water is brown. Holy goddamn fucking shit. What if your water's brown? You fucking piece of trash. You, as a cop, you. What would you do? That's what I fucking thought. I can't believe that we actually have to talk about that for even longer than a second. That should immediately, that should change everything. The federal government should step in and say, whoa, what the fuck are we doing? No, stop doing that. But does Trump do anything? Does he go in and no? He could do that. He could show he's against, but he's not. That would be where you could, but he's not. Do you wonder why they're doing that then? He could de-escalate that, but he's not. Yeah, these police, they're escalating. They're looking for reasons to like, that's terrible. It's the opposite of what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to protect, serve, de-escalate, try not to get somebody in trouble. This is what they're supposed to do. It's literally what they're supposed to do. Because that protection serves. You know, not even you. What if it was a family member of yours, somebody you cared about, and their water was brown? And then what are you gonna do? Are you gonna show them to their house and say, now, you can't complain about your brown water. What law have I broken? I'm sorry, what the fuck are you doing here? Get the fuck off my property. What law? No. Excuse me? How about you go and literally sit on the road and hold your radar gun out the window? How about you fucking do that? Yeah, it's like, again, all these cops want to sit here and, because Trump's hiring people that are nobodies, that's what they're doing. They're trying to, like, become FBI agents and ICE and shit. So they're just harassing people on social media and trying to be seen doing it. They know what they're doing. They're trying to get scouted by the criminal in charge. It's disgusting. Recognize them for who they are. Oh, well, we got you on camera coming in and out of our town. And as you know, there's a lot of cameras in that town, and you can't get a breath of fresh air in and out of our town without us knowing about it. And, we saw you coming in and out of our town. So therefore, you stole things. You're just a random person out of many people, thousands that probably go through that town in similar ways. But I'm just going to randomly pick you and harass you. Maybe it was the Karen thing. I think you're a Karen. And I think that meme is funny and I want to harass you. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? But I'm going to do it. That's what you're doing. That. There's a reason. You didn't actually see her do anything. She didn't drive up and take something. You just saw her drive through your town a bunch of times. Not illegal. Not enough. And then there was evidence to prove that she didn't. Yep, she won that one. Yeah. So, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. We're too busy chasing people down the road who yell, fuck the police out the window. That's a song, right? I'm just letting you know. Did you know that? You know it's a song, right? Go, you can look it up. Go be offended. Go look it up and go be offended. Just get it out of your system. So you don't fucking go out there and take it out on somebody that wants to yell it out the window because you don't have the discipline to carry a gun and a badge. Go get insulted. so that way you can maybe address that issue. You know, maybe go listen to it, be super offended, get all rage filled, and then remind yourself, damn, free speech, that's a thing. And you have the right to express how pissed off and rage filled you are at people saying that and shit like that too. You do. Because you also have that same free speech. But one thing you cannot do is use your badge and your gun and your official police vehicle to then go harass somebody and chase them down the road because they yelled something at you out the fucking window. I also shouldn't have to say that. Nobody should have to say that. Yeah, obviously this isn't directed at cops that know what they're doing. You know that. It's not directed at all of them. Don't be stupid. It's clearly just directed at the ones. And then you get smacked. Yep. It's true. Well, that's the test of the man. And that's why a lot of them get arrested. That's the test of the man. Yeah. Question is, what do you do when somebody smacks you? Smack doesn't really hurt that much. Doesn't hurt you. Well, maybe a little bit. But, you know, you complained about some little sissy slap, some, you know, you deserved a smack across the face. Okay. What did you do after that? Did you back up? And you go, what the fuck? What the fuck? Bitch? Don't get the fuck out of here. Don't hit me. What the fuck? Get out. Or did you or did you lose your shit? Or did you lose your shit? Which is it? That's it. That's the good guy versus the bad guy. That's it. That's why a lot of you look so fucking stupid. Because a lot of guys will stand there and take so many slaps and punches and they don't care. It's like, wow, what the fuck? You get out of here. What, just push them away and shit like that. You look like a real crybaby sissy fucking whiner. When you get slapped once and you gotta like get all rage and pissed off and then get aggressive and lose your shit. And then what happens? Oh, that's right. There's an aggressor. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then we know what happens there. Just that simple, folks. Men, I'm talking to you because it's a lot of men. It's the most. Let's be honest. Okay. Now it's not all, but let's be honest. Okay. All right. So just to let you know, that lady slapping you across your face. Well, that's her making a stupid decision. That's her looking stupid. That ain't you. Don't Don't make that mistake. Okay? Or, if it's a guy too, I mean, doesn't matter. Okay? There's a difference between if somebody smacks you and somebody punches you, okay? You see a fist coming at your head, all right, defend yourself. But somebody slaps you across the face, I mean, defend yourself, sure, but don't, okay? Right? You don't gotta get all aggressive and be. Listen, man, they're gonna use that. They're gonna do that. They're gonna be like, "Oh, he, oh," and then that's it. And then you did defend yourself, but really all they did was slap you. So yes, it could have escalated, but you escalated it. So don't do that. It's that simple. So then why are all these fucking douchebags on all these body cams being a bunch of aggressive fucking retards? Like I remember like I saw this thing the one time. It was a compilation of all these things that was like ghosts on body cam or something like that. It was like the dumbest shit. And like they actually used this one the one time of this dude that like was just having an aggressive alpha I'm tough shit moment, okay? And it was literally the most obvious. Even the cops knew too. But it was more the family that didn't understand, I think. You know what I'm saying? Now it's good they called because because it did escalate from him, but truthfully, like this dude literally they had like this upstairs landing that was like over the living room, and I swear to God, all he was doing was sprinting up the stairs and doing flips off into the and just over and over, just because he's tough shit. And he wasn't like talking to anybody. People kept trying to talk to him, and so he just kept doing. So like one of his brothers or something like that, or his friends or somebody there pissed him off, picked on him, whatever, and he's irritated and he's hot shit. Yeah, he's hot shit. He's got to do this to prove it because he can't actually do anything about it. So he's gonna do a bunch of flips and so people, like they're dumb and they're like, oh, he's possessed by a demon or something. No, he's not talking because he don't want to. Yeah, he's tough shit. Yeah. So like, I like how they dealt with it. They showed up and they called him on it. They could tell he was being aggressive. He kept not talking to them, not answering them, getting close to them and shit like that. And they were ready for it. It's like the moment that he tried to take a swing at them, the cop that was there clearly had experience with it because like you can tell he was like dipping back a little bit. So the moment he took a swing at him, it was bad. He got thrown. It was just bad. And he wouldn't even like like he wasn't like a big dude or anything. So like it was bad. Like it just stop this. What is this? Like did you watch like too many MacGyver TV shows or like Did you watch like, too many like Chuck Norris movies or something like that? Like you're just gonna all of the bad guys all at the same time. You know, I just don't get it. Obviously, because it's illogic. But you know, it's just that thing where they're trying to prove something. Donald does it too. He never got over it. He does it too. They all do it. They all do it. All of them. All of them. Oh man. North Korea is a small country, man. They are quite small. They're not developed. They got one developed city. That's it. South Korea is developed. They're a thriving democracy, similar to the United States. But again, basically the same size as North Korea. They're the size of a couple of U.S. states, of like a few U.S. states put together. They're each one individually. They're not that big. Okay, so just the reality is, with war strategy and stuff, the larger geographical region where you're already set up, well, all your base are belong to us. That's it. Essentially, the larger the area, the more base you have. You play any of his RTS games. I mean, it's very similar. The more you have, the more you have. You can somebody come and kick your ass and stuff if you have more? Yes. You can still make those mistakes and be a complete idiot. Yes. But it still takes the skill of the person to know how to do that. Okay? So that's the real reason why the United States is sort of unattackable. And I don't like the fact that he's pissing off the people that are our closest allies, which sort of kind of makes us the unattackable. Canada. It's not Mexico. Nobody's scared of Mexico. It's Canada. Sorry, it's hard for me to. Sometimes some South Park shit jolts into my head when I'm talking about this stuff. Um. In the broad sense, what I mean by South Park gets it right, what I meant by that is in the broad sense, that's true. Obviously, I don't mean literally. Obviously, like, you don't blame Canada and you don't. I mean, like, there's obviously not this place called Imagination Land that actually exists. And, like, I mean, come on. All right? Come on, man. All right? Like, just be real, all right? Be real, all right? It's more about the bigger picture of what they're trying to say, the message of what they're saying. You know, like, well, what was the point behind that? What was the point? Remember what happened too? You remember what happened too? They used the example of Kenny. He's my favorite, by the way. I love Kenny. But Kenny actually died for once. Remember? And like for real. And like so he's the chosen one. And he's gonna play the golden PSP because he's the best. And he's gonna play the golden PSP because he's the best, and then the golden PSP controls like heaven's troops to fend off the bad guys and stuff. Like, do you remember that? So the point is that you're supposed to recognize what you're doing with that is you're not saying literally Kenny is a real person with a fucking PSP and Santa Claus is helping him fend off the demons from hell. No. No. The point is that for us to continue as a society, we need these things like a Jesus, like like that. He was that portrayal sort of that and that, where we need somebody to save us. We need system of control essentially because we have these imperfections embedded in our human nature. Where it's not everybody, it's clearly not the people that realize this, but there's still a huge amount of people that are troubled and will never figure it out. And then they're Donald Trump, and they got billions, and they're gonna fuck everything up just because they're stupid. So you gotta have that Kenny playing the PSP. You gotta have that epitome of whatever people look to as the example of, that's Jesus, or that's whatever your, I guess, religion is, where it's not supposed to be about wars. It's supposed to be about healing and existing and trying to be happy as much as we can because life is finite. So, just saying, like, yeah, obviously there's not actually a towel that speaks to people. Okay. It's not obviously something that actually exists. They're just cartoons. Okay. Yeah, Randy, as much as we love him, he's not a real person. He's just a representation and sort of example of the irritated, pissed off dad that's fucking stupid and gets everything wrong. No, like, that's the point. He's the non-resourceful dad. He's the one that he is a complete moron. No, like, he's not resourceful at all. Like, everything he does is like barely there, and then like he has to have some big scheme to get it to. No, like, that's the point. Not like he's an idiot and he always gets it wrong. But he's right. He's right. Damn it. Integrity. No, like, the point is, Randy is not the guy you like. They got served. Remember they got served and he freaked out about this and he has to, man, Stan couldn't go, he can't be getting served. And he's got to like, he does this whole dancing thing. Like, no, the whole fucking point is this guy's toxic. Like, he is the one that's embarrassed by all of these things. And then you get what I'm saying? Like, controls them. Do you remember when, what was it, like Stan, I guess, didn't he used to play, was it hockey? And like he hit something and it hit a light, right? And the light like crashed down and like killed some people or something like that. And Randy's like, oh, oh, and he's like having like nightmares and stuff to this and all that. No, not again, no, because like Stan's gonna like do this again or something. I forget exactly what it was, but like you know, like he remembers this and this is really traumatic for him. But Stan doesn't even remember it. He didn't even know it fucking happened. And like Randy's freaking out about this the whole freaking episode, right? And like he riles the shit up and he causes the shit, right? So like that's the fucking point. That's the Randy. Integrity. What would you do? So you know, that's the point. You're supposed to read between those lines. Obviously, don't take that shit literally. Yep. Guys, you know, Whole Foods, that's the alien spaceship. The Whole Food store, it's gonna turn into a ship and take off. No. 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 Mm-mm. No. The point is Whole Foods is so fucking good and so cool. All this shit happens around it. And it's too good for us. And one day it's gonna take off. I'm not gonna have it anymore. Because it's too good for us. Yeah, it's amazing how you can look at that shit the right way, isn't it? But it's also funny at the same fucking time. I love that. It's like, yeah, that's how it's kind of how it is, isn't it? Holy fucking shit. But then there's like this layered genius to it that's like that. I love that. Like it's literally just a random funny shit, but then there's this layered genius where it's like, yeah, just like that. And the funny thing is, they don't even try it. I really don't think they do. It's sort of like with me where I just figure shit out. I think it's a lot of it's subconscious. They just write it that way, and that's how they feel. And they're actually like sort of genius like. They figure this stuff out, but it always just goes into their writing. It's all like a lot of it's subconscious. Imagine if they were politicians. Yeah, things would actually probably be fixed, wouldn't it? Yeah. Do you remember when Casa Bonita was gonna close down and Trey Parker and Matt Stone went, "Oh no, you don't. Oh no, you don't." Yeah, like the original. Do you remember? And I was gonna close, and then they go, "Oh no, you don't." Imagine if more politicians and stuff like that acted like that with our government and actually like did shit, like cared enough, like they did about Casa Bonita. Because that's an example. They're businessmen, are they not? They saved that. So why the fuck, when Donald Trump has singularly more money than they technically probably will ever have, technically, even though it's not really the case. Why can't he fix anything? When he declared bankruptcy like 6, 7, 8 bajillion times. Better yet, why can Trey Parker and Matt Stone and really any other celebrity seemingly have normal interviews, walk around normally without makeup? You know, again, they don't just cake makeup on their face all the fucking time. It's just for very one-off situations where they're in a studio, they need to do that sort of thing. Better yet, why the fuck does Donald Trump need to do that? Why the fuck is it so bad? It's every time there's a line. Why? Why is it so regular that he lies about you? Why can't he be honest about what his fucking face looks like? Because that's how much of a liar he is. They can't even let you see his face. God, see that for what it is. He's a clown putting makeup on. Do you know why a clown does that? Yes, it's funny, but they could just wear the nose and they do that because then they can have a normal life and their friends won't be like, ha ha, you're that fucking clown at that party that does that stupid ass fucking shit. Ha 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 ha. That is literally why they do that. Did you know that? That's the fucking point. It's a disguise. For crying out loud, people. I shouldn't have to explain like the history of showmanship and culture for you to understand what Donald's doing. This stuff, like, you can look it up, man. All right, look. Start just becoming a little more cultured, okay? People do, all right, Broadway, all right? Some of y'all freak out. You freak the fuck out when somebody shows like the smallest ounce of skin. Like, look. I don't necessarily want to always see it either. I don't really ever want to see it, to be honest with you. But I also don't fucking care, and I'm not gonna flip the hell out, okay? So shut the fuck up, all right? Go to New York. Take a trip to New York. Just take a trip. Go to a little place called Broadway and watch a single fucking show and then tell me you feel the same way. In fact, compare them. Watch like 5. And tell me how many times you see a completely naked actor. Okay? Okay, so keep going with that. All right? Now arrive somewhere in Vermont. Okay? Or you know, somewhere else that makes good cheese, okay? There's plenty of states that make good cheese. Plenty. Okay? But here's what I want you to do, all right? I want you to get some Swiss, to get some sharp cheddar, some white cheddar, some Gouda. Okay? And then I want you to get some American cheese. I want you to taste all these cheeses first. All of them first. Then at the end, I want you to taste the American cheese. And I want you to tell me honestly if you truthfully think that American cheese tastes anything like any of the other ones at all, even texture-wise. And then I want you to tell me again, like, is it cheese? Does it taste like the other ones? And not only that, I want you to tell me if you think it tastes good by itself. Now, I want you to also talk to me about the texture, about how it sticks to your fucking teeth. It's like a paste. So, then I want you to start going around the country, and I want you to go to fast food restaurants. You know, we got shitloads of these things. Okay? And I want you to go around and I want you to tell me realistically, if you get the food, let it sit. Let that shit sit for like fucking 15 minutes. 15 minutes. That's it. 15 minutes. Can you let your lasagna sit for 15 minutes and eat it? Can you let a tuna casserole sit for 15 minutes? Can you let a sub sit for 15 minutes and eat? Can you let a plate of spaghetti sit for 15? Can you let really anything really sit for 50? But get anything from any fast food place anywhere in this country, not elsewhere because it's fucking different shit elsewhere. Get one from this country. Everywhere you can possibly go, eat it 15 minutes after getting it and tell me if it's still edible and tell me if you're in the bathroom for entirely too long afterward. Yeah. That's what I want you to do. I want you to do that. And then when you do that, okay, after you do that, I want you to go around and I want you to start pronouncing the states. Just look at the states on the US map. Look at them phonetically speaking. I want you to tell me if phonetically, when you sound every one of these states out by their names, if spelled out, they look like this, like Arkansas. It's pronounced Arkansas. 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 Excuse me a sec. Arkansas. Arkansas. Uh, Arkansas. Ah, shit. Hold on. One sec. All right. Sorry. You know, There's something to be said about a country that pretty consistently, just has so much, just so much toxicity and segregation around, like our culture in general. So the point is that if you can learn to joke about them and get over it, then that's how we conquer racism, segregation, things like that. Nobody will want to do that anymore if you don't fucking care. They won't. I've tried to remind you guys that racism is essentially just bullying at the end of the day. They're just picking that. So if you remember this concept, you're going to remember that if you don't give a shit and you don't get all bent out of shape about it, you're not giving them a reason to keep doing that. It bothers you. That's why they do it. So, I mean, that's all that's coming out of, these people in the spotlight anymore is just back and forth freaking bullying of each other, where one picks on the other. And they're pretending like they're rising above it and they're the better one. No, you're both doing it. Both sides are doing that. How about shut the fuck up and focus on what you're supposed to focus on instead of pretending like you're having a good fucking time? A day and all happy fun time and games. When Obama went in there and took care of business, okay. There was a reason we could be happy and fun and make jokes. We're taking care of business. But now, I don't want to fucking even see that shit. I don't want to see a single goddamn fucking president or a single fucking person making some fucking joke, making it funny. Nothing's funny. This isn't funny anymore. We're killing people. We're blowing shit up. Israel is controlling our military from beyond the shadows. Fucking disgusting. What country on the planet do you know of lets another country just have access to their military ever? Like, what is the one national security risk you don't do? Give military access to another country. Duh. It's like the one fucking thing you don't do. Oh, gee, I wonder what the absolute essence of a man on the inside is. Duh. Let's give Israel access to our military. Duh. That's what Donald did. He gave Israel access to our military. That's traitorous. You do that with Putin's military. You're not going to be alive the next day. And Donald's doing it with ours every day. Do you know why? Because he is demoralizing our service members. He is torturing them and harming them, leaving them out for too long. That's why. Because Israel does this too. I don't see Pete Hegseth out there. Eating almost nothing. Being mistreated. No, if anything, that guy's just getting fatter. Complaining about people's weight and stuff like that, and he's getting fatter. And then meanwhile he fails to he does his stupid little bench press thing and then fails. It looks like a moron. Like blatantly obviously doesn't lift. And then just like fails at it, like just shows how stupid he looks. Like, yes, what is the tall tale sign that you don't lift? I know. We'll lay on a bench and very blatantly not be able to push the bar straight up. Blatantly, obviously, one arm's stronger than the other. We don't lift. What a fucking retard. It's like the one thing that goes away when you lift. Because when you lift, you have to do both sides. You got back problems. And then meanwhile, it's like obvious he doesn't fucking lift. He's like falling off the fucking bench, like his one leg like lifts off the fucking ground. He can't even center his feet properly. Yeah. Pretty pathetic. Pretty pathetic. Our country is a disaster. Trump is a disaster. Now look at this. We are not gonna see. Look at this. 64. That's it. That's all they count. Look at all these people supposedly. I mean, it's just a lie. Blatantly a lie. Blatantly a lie. There's that many people in here. That's thousands of views. We talked about this many people in the stream at even an hour. This many people in the stream at even an hour is usually thousands, let alone 3 hours. Okay? So actually pretending like there's 64? No. Nope. Well, that's interesting. And boy, that's really interesting. Fascinating. You know what's a shame? You know what's a shame? The fact that we're actually sitting here operating on a channel that is completely jailbroken. Where again, my my stream key randomly has copy things instead of reset buttons. You know, where like literally this scammer has fucked up my YouTube channel. And I don't even have half this shit that I'm supposed to have in here to reset a stream key or anything. Where YouTube intentionally makes it so that this scammer can scam my fucking channel. Where I'd clearly would need a reset button for this key. But instead of there being reset buttons, there are copy buttons to make it easy for the scammer. Boy, that is fascinating, isn't it? Boy, that is real fascinating. It's almost as if the piece of trash Trump administration used illegal means to redesign all of this so that it looked easy for them to scam and bullshit and lie because they're so incompetent and fucking stupid that they need all of it right here in order to do it properly. And not only that, it is incredibly illegal. They are literally lying, scamming, stalking, doxing, and harassing. And we have the IP addresses, we have the proof behind it. Yeah. And I know that you know, these views, these likes coming off totally makes you want to believe them more. I know that that totally would do that. I know. I know. I know that totally doesn't help my cause. The fact that the you know like it's blatantly obviously you know meddling with things that promote that the tool features that promote the stream that help tools to promote the stream, you know, literally just spamming and scamming those. But yeah, yeah, we totally believe you more now that you did that. Now that that's a thing, we literally saw that just happen. They believe you more. Everybody believes this even more so. Totally. Totally. Yeah. So remember the view count and all that stuff. Um, you can't steal a bunch of views because I'm talking about Donald Trump. Can't do it. Um, you cannot copyright speech. George Lucas tried to do that too, didn't he? You can't do it. He got sued for that too. Yeah, he got sued. Now, I love George Lucas, but he did try to copyright the word droid, and he got sued for it. Okay? So stop. Stop being fucking stupid. You don't know what you're doing. You can't copyright whether or not somebody sits here and talks about you and shit like that. Especially when I can sue you for having freedom of the press. And not only that, it's protected speech under the First Amendment when you're a politician. There are so fucking many reasons you cannot fuck around with my stream just because I'm talking about Donald Trump. And there's going to be so many reasons we win that defamation case. And you're going to pay me a lot of money because you defamed me, not the other way around. Look at that bit rate. Oh, look at that bit rate. Boy, look at that bit rate. Boy, that was real interesting. Right when I right when I pointed out the fact that he's gonna have to pay me a lot of money because he's the one that defamed me, not the other way around. Boy, that was really fascinating, wasn't it? So the reality is, Donald Trump meeting with Kim Jong-un, not a good idea. Do you know why? Because Donald's stupid. He's stupid. That's why. Kim Jong-un is infinitely smarter than him and will take advantage of that opportunity. And we will have problems all over again, new ones. We already have shitloads of problems because Donald's stupid. You know, a lot of breaches probably happened because of him. And then he's announcing that he's meeting with him again this year. Well, Donald Trump's fucking stupid. No matter what he thinks he's gonna do to do that correctly and not make a mistake, he's not gonna do it because he's still Donald asshole piece of shit jackass Trump. That will never ever ever think in any other selfless. He does not selfless. He's not open-minded. He can't possibly ever think that way. He will always go into that situation being selfish and stupid. It's that simple. He will always get taken advantage of because he's selfish and stupid. If he thought about other people and thought open-mindedly and actually cared about our national security, he'd be thinking about those things and he'd be aware of them at any given time. He's not. It's not what he thinks about. It's that basic. And to him, it would be too much to think about because he doesn't do it. He doesn't know how to think about that one. But then for those of us who always have, it just happens naturally. Well, it's like, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? All his national security advisors, he's probably like, oh, how are you so smart? You just think of, yeah, because they've always done it. Because they are selfless people. So they think of others first. Yeah. It's called thinking securely policing and security for the reason of protecting and serving, and not for the reasons of, just wanting to look cool, wearing a badge, and wanting people to respect your authority. Because that's what a lot of them do. Remember the random dude? What was a security guy at I think it was like a Spirit Halloween. And it's not their fault. It wasn't their fault. It's the fact that the security guy was allowed to carry. It's that simple. He literally violated every law, every policy. This dude was like trying to steal somebody's stuff and run out the store. And the security guy literally chased him out the store. You're not supposed to do that. You cannot run out the store after somebody. And not only that, after chasing him out the store, tackled him onto the pavement, slamming him onto the pavement, then claimed he had a weapon and shot him and killed him. A Spirit Halloween security guard. That's America. Yeah, America. This fucking triggered piece of shit. He was just all pissed off. This happened on his watch. Because that's the point. He's not doing his job, and he knows it. If he was doing his job, he would have been suspicious of this guy from the beginning. He wouldn't have had to run out the store after him. He would have been already on top of him, and he wouldn't have had to do that, and he wouldn't have pulled a gun. Why are you even doing that? Like, what kind of sissy, whiny bitch needs to carry a gun as a security guard at a Spirit Halloween? Like, Jesus, dude. Some of these people that are cashiers at like gas stations and stuff, they should be allowed to carry. Oh yeah. Oh my god, gas stations get held up all the time. But a Spirit Halloween? Who the fuck is going in there and buying a bunch of Halloween costumes with cash? Nobody's robbing it. What? They rob a gas station because people go in and buy lottery tickets and cigarettes with cash, and they know that. It's impulse buy. They know this. Figure shit out. Why aren't you smarter? If the criminals can figure it out and be better criminals, god damn, we gotta figure some shit out, man. I should be director of the FBI. I'm more qualified than Kash Patel. And then, as director, after you appoint me, I'm going to give James Comey a call and I'm going to step down and be like, here you go, sir. Here you go. Way more qualified. Here you go. My only condition is that you continue that investigation you were doing against Donald Trump before he fired you for no reason. Oh, right, that's right. You're investigating. Oh, that's right. That'd be my condition. Yeah. I'm sure he'd be a lot. I'm sure he'd oblige. Sure he'd be delighted. Oh, that's oh. What do you know? I was gonna do that anyway. Oh, poor guy. I feel bad for Fauci too. This guy came out of retirement just to make sure you guys actually had credible health advice to listen to during a global pandemic. One of the most qualified doctors in the world. And he comes out of retirement to make sure, because Donald Trump defunded pandemic response. So he comes out of retirement to make sure that you guys actually have somebody to listen to that's very experienced, that you know you're getting solid advice. I appreciate that. And I always waited for that. I waited for him to talk about things. I did, because that's who I would listen to. And I was actually very informed by him. He would answer questions and he'd say, well, yeah, that's to all these people, it sounds so confusing. It's not confusing. Know more about academics and health? It's just that you're asking confusing questions. You're asking him all these complicated things where he's going to answer something that sounds like it's conflicting with what he said prior. So you're doing that on purpose. Stop asking stupid fucking questions. Like that's the like it was all about that. And so like the dumb people that are like going around saying that like a face mask doesn't, you know, do anything or something. Boy, you are stupid. Boy, are you dumb. Because I got news for you. Before you had some stupid negative meme about this or some stupid fucking bullshit, I got news for you. In other countries around the world where, you know, the air pollution ain't so great, they were already wearing masks and stuff as like a fashion statement, because it was just so regularly embedded in their health that they would wear a mask. Because regular particles and shit's in the air, it's just so bad in some places. A mask is the only way they protect against that. And you're literally just like making these dumb fucking claims just because Donald Trump. Yep. Just because the pandemic looks bad for Donald Trump and you want to defend him. What the fuck? No, all the more reason to come out against him. Your health is at risk. It's a global pandemic, and he's trying to make you think that this is not a serious thing. People are dying from it. Dying from it. And then you actually look at those numbers and you go, oh, I don't know. There was something else that killed him at the hospital. Oh, I don't. Yeah. So again, I know I've already touched base on this, but this is how it works. Okay. Somebody usually has something going on. Okay. You are not perfect. I've got news for you. You're a bag of chemicals with some problems waiting to happen, and it's embedded right into your DNA. Okay? Eventually, you're going to have some problems. But the idea is that you live and you try to either outgrow it or just be healthy, in the sense that you push this back to the later part of your life. Okay? And maybe you don't have a problem with it. But the whole point is, well, in reality, people just have problems when they're old because they're not as healthy. You're old. Things don't work as well. So you go to the hospital and you have COVID. This thing goes for 2 weeks without showing symptoms. That's why we wore masks. Not literally the only reason, but a lot of the reason. You could be walking around infecting people. You don't know. You don't have it yet. You have no clue. But you're deathly ill. And to somebody that's 80, 90 years old, that kills them. Because they got problems. That thing that's brought itself up in them 3 or 4 times already, and you're walking around no mask being a douchebag, where you could get over this, you could have a healthy immune system, but you sneeze, you do this to that 80, 90-year-old, you just signed their death warrant just because you don't want to wear a mask. When we're trying to educate you, we're trying to tell you it's not like that. You will know without showing symptoms. This is serious. The flu is serious. Do you think the flu isn't serious? The flu kills people every year. That's a virus. Do you not consider that serious because everybody gets it? Well, but that's the group you hang out with. You hang out with young, healthy people, I guess. So therefore you think that. Wait till your friends start dying off. One of them will die from the flu one day. One of them heart failure. Maybe one of them COVID. Then you'll realize it, but you'll be 90. These people that die this way, you don't know it because sometimes it's a car accident. People are gone before their time. Things like that. Accidents happen. Too much of that's going on. But truthfully, coronavirus is very serious. 2 weeks you're going without symptoms, and this thing raises your temperature. I think I think mine was at like 104. I mean, for Christ's sake. I'm a seemingly healthy individual too, for the most part. Chills that are the types of things that actually feel painful. I mean, I don't even know how to describe that, except where it's the sort of thing where, like, imagine if you were like in frigid Arctic environment where you're so cold, your body is shivering so much that it actually physically hurts. It's actually like hurting your muscles. You're shivering so much. That's how I would describe it, like that. And you think that's not a serious virus? What the hell? No, they go in with this, and the whole point is that that other thing that they have going on has now exacerbated and become a massive problem because they have a fucking temperature of 104. This causes problems. You get symptoms, you get... The point is, this is a virus. Bad. And you're going to get all these things, these symptoms and things are going to happen. And it's going to exacerbate this other thing that's also going on that you've kept at bay a little bit. So yes, you're going to have huge death rates because of COVID. Because they already had the other thing. They are aware of that. And while that might have also played a factor, the primary cause is COVID. Because they came in for that, it exacerbated the other thing and ultimately led to them passing away. Not the original thing. That was sort of kept at bay until COVID came along. COVID's the killer. Please allow yourself to be educated by this. Please allow yourself to let doctors give you medical advice. Please, please, please become more regularly aware of health and medical things in general. You should just know this stuff. Vitamin C is something everybody needs. If you don't eat fruit, get it somehow. Get it somehow. If you do not eat fruit, your brain is missing something. You're a stupid motherfucker. Same, for the love of God, same thing if you don't eat beef. Like, or I'm sorry, chicken. There's a certain, I think it's omega, right? Something. There's some protein in there for the brain. Potatoes give you some too for the brain, but there's a certain, I think, protein in meat. I believe it's chicken and beef, poultry and beef, that your brain is it might be memory, actually, memory access, something to do with that. I forget. There's a real specific protein for quickness of the ability to access your what you've learned, essentially, what essentially you've actually learned. And I believe that's beef and poultry. So if you're a vegetarian, you better get that somehow else. Otherwise, you're gonna make a lot of decisions that don't make any sense to you or anybody else, and you're gonna suddenly like change and stuff like that. You didn't change. Change your diet. You're not thinking right. Right back. Okay, so for some people, let me just put it out there. For some people, not the case at all. Do you know why? Comes back to that genetics thing. Maybe you're higher with that. Your body produces naturally that a little bit better than everybody else, so you don't need it as much. Okay, everybody's a little different, and a lot of this is genetics. Again, what you evolved with. Your ancestors probably ate a lot of this, had a lot of this, so therefore you don't have it. Now suddenly you can't. Does that make sense? Because they evolved and they it was excess for them and they relied on this. This is embedded in that DNA that you congenitally essentially get that, or of a chance, I should say more of like you have a chance to have that, because obviously it's not a for sure thing. It's obviously how much of that lineage is there, and then the likelihood of it happening, and predominantly how often did this occur, all kinds of factors. But I mean, like the tippy top of science is obviously, I mean, like there's plenty. Yeah, we clearly have not figured out the mysteries of the human body yet. So, what are we doing in space? Okay, this is why I think we should be venturing the deep. Haha, the deep. Ha ha ha. Deep thoughts with the deep. They should have been like by Jack Handy. No, so when we research the deep ocean and organisms and all that that actually live that far under the ocean, we actually find that there are some like jellyfish and stuff that, believe it or not, know how to reset what's called their life cycle. Isn't that nuts? Why aren't we researching this? Everybody's obsessed with the fountain of youth and living forever, and nobody is researching how jellyfish reset their entire lives. Why? Why? Cuz they're aliens. No, come on. We should be figuring that out, man. Okay? We should be figuring that out. And likewise, stuff that exists in a very dark, cold, oxygenless environment. Very, very huge amount of pressure down there, too. Huge pressure. Huge amount of pressure. Well, we might start actually figuring some of the stuff out that we can't figure out about, what happens in space when those things occur too. So if we first conquer that, sea exploration and like just that going that deep into the ocean, we might answer some things. We will answer some things. So we should probably research those jellyfish and those various other things that we know about that literally just completely reset their lives, basically just sort of start over at a certain point. We've researched tortoises. We've done a lot of research into tortoises, haven't we? I'm pretty sure we have. Like reptiles, all that stuff, like where they just blatantly defy some of the things that we know about humans too, like where they're able to um exist in a little bit of a harsher climate and stuff like that. Now, obviously, a lot of that more has more to do with their skin and the protect layer of protection they have and stuff. But not a lot, in my opinion, has been done with these jellyfish and a lot of these creatures that we don't even know exist that are way under there. And think about what we could do if we could figure out oxygen, like water oxygen conversion. Well, not only would we possibly then have a solution to dehydration, but we would also figure out how to breathe in water. Like we could possibly conquer, you know, the feat of essentially being under the water, and breathing water essentially. It's a conversion process because it's all they're doing. It's all the fish are doing. The fish are just converting it. They need oxygen too. They do. Yeah. They have gills and everything. Little bubbles come out the gills. So why aren't we researching this? And then like the whales, they have the spout where they have to come up. and release all the water, you know? Because they can't just like be loaded full of that shit. But then they just dip right back down. So like it's not like fish don't come up out of the water and stuff. But again, obviously they can be under there and still get enough oxygen to exist, but clearly they still need. So why aren't we figuring that out? Why aren't we learning from that? And I think this has to do with our skin. Where I do think that because we are most predominantly water, like 90 something percent water, right? I think we possess the ability to be aquatic. I think we could actually evolve into an aquatic life form. Flight, eh, not so much. Think about gravity, the way it works. Our center of gravity isn't that great. We sort of tumble and stuff. But water, we're actually pretty graceful in water, like humans in general. We've made great strides with that. And we are mostly, you put water on our skin, or, where our skin needs to stay hydrated. We talk about like dry skin and stuff. Pro health is hydrated skin. So why, and minerals, algae, all that stuff, pro health stuff. So why wouldn't, and even some of those organisms, microorganisms, can help to combat certain types of diseases and stuff. Why aren't we evolving that way? Why aren't we trying to evolve wrong? Because we're chasing this endless science concept where we went to space and now we have to keep doing it. So we conquered the sky, but we haven't mastered it. So what if the answer to that is understanding pressure? Do things fall at a different speed when there is less or more moisture? Can you answer that question? Do you know the answer? Things always fall at the same acceleration, but they do not fall at the same speed. Ah, there you go. So now, do things fall at a different speed whether there's less or more moisture? Yes. Yes. The answer is yes. It's slight, but it's there. It's energy. That's energy. It's slight, but it's there. So now you have the ocean. So now it's not so slight. Was it like 9.2 meters per second or something like that? I don't even remember. I know how to spell. I know how to spell. I had a dur moment just now. A dur moment. 9.8. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about the squared. 9.8 meters per second squared. Sorry. Yeah. So the acceleration, gravitational acceleration is 9.8 meters per second squared. So you starting to understand why it's really irritating to me that we're not on the metric system here in the United States. Everything's fucking meters. And I'm like, what the fuck? What is a meter? And then the conversion is literally 32.2 feet per second squared. Oh, Jesus. So, anyway, that's the point. All right. So everything technically, I mean, technically it's not falling at the same speed if it's accelerating higher, faster than something else. But I mean, technically it's not. You're not talking about speed, okay? It's more acceleration. How fast is it accelerating? Um, and that's what stays the same. Yeah, essentially, everything accelerates at 9.8 meters per second squared. So that it's so that it's so then it's the G is gravity, I guess, right? Yeah, the universal gravitational constant equals that times the mass of the thing divided by the radius squared. That's the fucking formula there. So, okay, I mean, like, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing this? Oh, he discovered gravity because an apple fell on his head. That's what people remember. The shit that's completely made up. Yes, that's when he discovered it. Totally. That it wasn't like, you know, when he was a kid and he fell over for the first time. He was an apple falling out of a tree when he was like 50 something. That Newton, Edison. Remember, Nikolai Tesla, he didn't exist. We don't know who the fuck that is. Yeah, we're gonna just the FBI is gonna steal all of his work, lie about it, claim it's top secret, can't talk about it, and then just give it all to Thomas Edison to slowly release over the next 100 years or so. And then everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, Edison made he He created the light bulb. Yeah, he did, but he didn't make the technology to make it. He did not make that. He just copied the idea. See, nobody knows where any of that shit came from. That's literally what happened. It was just like a race. It was like, well, who's gonna fucking do it first? And then thus the story of the long history of US patents. And why everything is like a fucking 89 million year wait. You ever see like a thing where you buy like a thing at a store or something and you flip it over and it says patent pending? And it's like, that fucking thing has said that for like 8 years. Yeah. Yeah. That's how backlogged it is. Supposed to investigate like officially whether or not you made the thing. And they're supposed to like, you know, but 8 years later, yeah, we have no fucking clue if you actually can patent this random plastic container or not. Like that's what we're talking about. Like I swear to God, I literally saw a plastic container in the store the other day. A plastic storage container. And I swear to God, on the bottom it said patent pending. Who the fuck is trying to patent a plastic storage Yep, you patented this. You did. You came up with the idea of a plastic storage container. You. Nobody else ever thought of exactly this design. And that's the reality, is they're getting away with that. Where because it's like a different locking mechanism on the lid, they can patent it. For crying out loud, man. Like, there's gonna be all these people that want your goddamn plastic storage totes and shit like that. You gotta backlog the system because you want to patent this thing. Oh yeah, yeah, and you get to because you got the fucking lawyers and the money to endlessly push this shit into the fucking already backlogged system. Forget all the patents pending for the shit that matters. Okay, that's the reality. Patent pending. It's a fucking storage tote. What are you patenting? Like that that's the only like that it's probably that. It's probably the stupid fucking like the way they did the lid or something, you know. Jesus. You're really that fucking anal about it? Man, nobody better steal your fucking interlocking design on how you're the Legos of fucking storage containers. You're the Legos of storage containers. Like, I understand when Lego does that fucking shit because everybody's like making all the kinds of shit. It's like, no, it was Lego. All right. It was fucking Lego. All right. I understand. And they're doing it right. But, you know, storage fucking tote. Who the hell fucking cares, man? Nobody's going to be like, that is the best interlocking fucking design I have ever seen. Oh my God. Oh my God. We need to steal that design so that our storage totes sell. Oh my God. Oh, we're going to sell so many plastic storage totes just because of this one little design. Holy fucking shit. God damn, we better patent this and get this shit. Oh man, $30,000 later, you got some fucking documents in there, and this thing's waiting for fucking a damn decade just for you to be like, yep, totally. Nobody else made this lid design. There you go. You made it. And in that 10 fucking years, we've been waiting around for somebody to be like, oh, that's mine, not yours. Nobody fucking did. Nobody. So what the fuck? Why? Yeah, like again, you make like a legitimate technology somebody wants to steal, and it's legit. Okay, sure, patent the fuck out of that shit. But why the hell is the federal government letting people backlog the system because a goddamn storage tote has a different interlocking lid than the one over at that store and that store, and everybody's gonna steal my design. They're gonna have the better fucking totes because of my lid design. Urgh. So again, USB, Universal Serial Bus, Blu-ray, great things to patent. DVD, okay, a technology. These are things that get patent, not random fucking storage totes. Patent pending. It's a storage tote. What the fuck? I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna pick up a wrench. I'm gonna pick up a wrench and it's gonna be like patent pending. A wrench? Boy, this better be some genius fucking wrench that can do things that all the other wrenches can't do. Let me tell you what, this better be some like genius fucking what a waste of resources. Because you have a lawyer that can draft this shit up, and you have the money to just be like 30 grand for this shit. Because that's the reality. This shit, it's litigation, it's attorneys, it's somebody on many people on the federal government side of things staring at this. And on up too. It goes up to the chain too. It doesn't start with that either. Like but patent pending. Anyway, I better get going. I hear this thing raging out there. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't vote for Republicans right now. They're a bunch of fucking retards. Vote the other way. See ya.